Imagine the scene inside the manager's office. It is Saturday evening. The tactical board is set, the team sheet is mentally prepared, and the focus is absolute. Then a phone vibrates on the desk. A single text message illuminates the screen, and in that split second, the entire dynamic of the dressing room shifts. It isn't an injury report. It isn't a family emergency. It is a refusal. A player, a star, asset, effectively downing tools via SMS. We are looking at a situation that goes beyond simple transfer gossip. This is the anatomy of a breakdown between a club and its talisman, and sitting in the wings, watching this chaos unfold with a very keen eye, might just be Wrexham. There is something very strange happening in Carrow Road, and the ripples are heading straight for North Wales. We need to get straight into the meat of this situation, because the details emerging from Norwich City are genuinely startling. We are talking about Josh Sargent, the US international, a player who has been the heartbeat of the Canaries. HIJACK. The news breaking right now says Sargent has made himself unavailable. This isn't speculation. This comes directly from the Norwich manager, Philippe Clement. The report states that Sargent sent a message on Saturday evening saying he would not be available for the FA Cup clash against Walsall because of transfer things in his head. Just let that sink in. A moment. We often talk about player power in modern football, but refusing to play in an FA Cup tie, a competition built on passion and commitment, because your head is turned. That is a massive statement. Norwich went on to thrash Walsall 5-1, but the shadow looming over that victory was the absence of their number 9. Clement was incredibly candid in his interview with BBC Radio, Norfolk. He didn't hide it. He said, "This is obviously not something we want, and will have consequences." When a manager uses the word consequences publicly, you know the relationship is fractured. This comes at a time when Norwich are enduring a torrid campaign in the Championship, sitting third from bottom. They are fighting for their lives, and their main striker has essentially stepped out of the trench. This is the context of the volatile atmosphere into which Wrexham have been instructed to intervene. It is messy, it is visceral, and it is exactly the kind of market inefficiency that savvy clubs look to exploit. So, where do the Red Dragons fit into this chaotic puzzle? The narrative has shifted from a simple player dispute to a potential transfer hijack. The instruction, or rather the strong suggestion, has come from a man who knows both clubs intimately. Iwan Roberts, the former Wales and Norwich striker. He's gone on record, speaking to the Fearless in Devotion podcast, urging Wrexham to swoop in and steal Sargent away from a potential move to the MLS. The report suggests that Toronto FC have lined up a bid worth around £13.5 million for the 5-year-old. That is a significant sum. Sargent is looking to secure his place in the US squad for the World Cup this year. Remember, we are in 2026 in this context, and he needs guarantees. But Roberts believes the racecourse could be the perfect destination. He's looking at the trajectory of the two clubs and seeing a crossing of paths. You have Norwich sinking like a stone towards League One, and you have Wrexham sitting 9th in the Championship, just 1 point off the playoff places, riding the crest of a wave after knocking Nottingham Forest out of the cup. The momentum is entirely with Phil Parkinson's men. Roberts' argument is fascinating. He admits that Sargent's behavior regarding the snub makes him question the player's character slightly, noting, "I always thought he was a good teammate, but maybe I'm questioning that now." However, from a purely footballing perspective, he insists Sargent would be a welcome addition to any club in this division. The premise of the hijack is simple. Why go to the MLS when you can chase Premier League promotion with Wrexham? Let's strip away the drama for a minute and look at the player. Why is Josh Sargent valued at over £13 million? Why are Toronto FC ready to break the bank? Since joining Norwich from Werder Bremen in August 2021, Sargent has scored 56 goals in 157 appearances. That is a serious return, especially in a league as physically demanding and inconsistent as the Championship. Even in a struggling Norwich side this season, he has managed 8 goals in 25 matches. He is good with his back to goal, he can link play, and he has that predator's instinct inside the box. He is 25 years old, entering his prime years for the Hollywood owners Ryan and Ralph. There is also the undeniable commercial appeal. A US international desperate to shine in a World Cup year, leading the line for Wrexham. The narrative writes itself. It fits the global brand expansion perfectly. But as Roberts pointed out, it's not just about the brand, it's about the grass. Sargent is a grafter. Usually, the snub incident is an anomaly in what has otherwise been a career defined by hard running and pressing. If Wrexham are to consider a bid of this magnitude, they are buying a proven championship goal scorer, in a division where the margins between the playoffs and mid-table are razor thin. A striker of this pedigree is often the difference maker, but, and this is a massive but, is he the right fit for the current Wrexham machine? Here is where the analytical side of my brain starts to flash warning lights. We cannot ignore the reality of the current Wrexham squad. We are not desperate for a striker. In fact, we are looking arguably stronger than we ever have up top. Kieffer Moore has been a revelation. You look at the images of him celebrating that fourth goal against Sheffield United, he is a colossus. He is leading the line with authority, physicality, and goals. Iwan Rowitz highlighted this exact issue. He warned that there could be significant friction if Sargent isn't offered guarantees over playing time. Sargent wants to start every single game between now and the World Cup. That is his non-negotiable. Can Phil Parkinson guarantee that? With Kieffer Moore in this kind of form? I highly doubt it. Parkinson is a manager who rewards performance, not reputation. He isn't going to drop a striker who is scoring just to accommodate a £13 million signing. Furthermore, Roberts noted, I look at the Wrexham squad and I can't see where you can really strengthen. That is a massive compliment to the recruitment team. We have depth, we have quality. Bringing in Sargent might disrupt the equilibrium. Imagine the dressing room dynamic. You bring in a player who has just refused to play for his previous club because he wasn't happy, and you try to integrate him into a tight-knit group that prides itself on the one-team mentality. It is a high-risk strategy. We have a fascinating clash of managerial philosophies playing out here. On one side, you have Philippe Clement at Norwich trying to maintain discipline. He has come out fighting, stating categorically, the club has made it really clear to Josh and his agent that he will not be leaving during this transfer window. He is trying to put up a wall. He is saying that despite the text message, despite the transfer of things in his head, Sargent is going nowhere. It's a bold power play, attempting to reassert authority. On the other side, we have Phil Parkinson. The gaffer has been cool, calm, and collected. He has stated he is happy with what he's got. He doesn't expect the busy January. This is a classic Parkinson poker face. We know historically that he prefers to do his business quietly. However, there is a caveat. Parkinson has also admitted that if a player he has always liked becomes available, he would probably go for it. Does Sargent fit that bill? Is he the special player that breaks the rule of a quiet window? The juxtaposition is striking. Clement is dealing with a mutiny, Parkinson is dealing with abundance. One manager is fighting fires, the other is tending a well-kept garden. But in football, we know that he is not leaving often translates to he is not leaving until the price is right. If Toronto's £13 5 megabytes bid is real, Norwich, in their financial and league position, might have no choice but to cash in, regardless of Clement's public stance. We need to take a step back and appreciate the sheer absurdity of the position we find ourselves in. Wrexham, the club from the National League just a few years ago, are now being tipped to raid Norwich City, an established club with recent Premier League history. The tables have turned completely. Norwich is staring into the abyss of League One. They are fragile. They are third from bottom. Their star player wants out. Wrexham are ninth. We are the aggressors in this scenario. We are the club with the upward trajectory, the financial backing, and the allure. The fact that pundits are discussing Wrexham hijacking a 13-member deal for Norwich star is testament to the work done at the racecourse. It speaks to the stability brought by the owners and the management. This Saturday, Wrexham hosts Norwich in the league. It is script-written drama. Sargent might be in the stands or left at home, while the team he wants to leave faces the team he is being urged to join. The atmosphere at the racecourse is going to be electric. It's not just a game for 3 points, it's a psychological battle. If Wrexham win, it twists the knife in Norwich's season and potentially makes the Sargent exit even more inevitable. We are watching a power transfer in real time, not just of a player, but of status within the English game. So, where do we land on this? Should Wrexham pull the trigger? Should they slap £30 million on the table and bring Josh Sargent to North Wales? It is the ultimate dilemma. On paper, it is a statement signing. A US international, a proven goalscorer, a steal from a rival. It signals intent to the rest of the championship that we are gunning for back-to-back-to-back promotions. But my gut, my visceral reaction, is caution. The snub worries me. The refusal to play worries me. Phil Parkinson has built this team on character, on players who would run through brick walls for the badge. Does a player who texts his manager to opt out of a match fit that DNA? I'm not so sure. Plus, we have Kieffer Moore. We have a system that works. However, football is about moments. If Parkinson believes Sargent can be the difference between the playoffs and just missing out, the Hollywood owners might just back him. It is going to be a fascinating few days leading up to the deadline. Keep your eyes on the news. Keep your eyes on the racecourse this Saturday. Something is brewing, and whether it's a hijack or a hard pass, it proves one thing. Wrexham are now big players at the high table,